Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. This is a special edition. We have with us today our special guest from the ABC, the Anti-BS Commission, the Anti-BS Commissioner in the room, Mr. ABC. How are you doing today, Mr. ABC?
Not Mr. Thank you, Ingram, but I am doing well.
You're just ABC.
Just ABC.
Just ABC. 1, 2, 3, and ABC. Cool. Right. So, people who don't know whom you are, what your role is, tell us, Mr. ABC or ABC, what your role is within boxing.
I just decipher and cut through any of the bullshit and the grey area. I just simplify things to either black or white.
Okay. So, do you think there's a need for a commissioner like yourself in boxing?
I believe that there is a need for a commissioner such as myself in life, period.
What makes you think?
Not just in boxing.
But what makes you feel that way?
It's a fact. Most people tend to live in delusion with their heads up their arse, just purposely ignoring facts that they have in front of them.
Okay, there's a lot of topics to talk about in boxing. I think we may as well start the top of the show with the incident with Clarissa Shields, Ivana Habazan, the weigh-in, James Elibashir getting knocked out and getting broken cheekbones, and now still in hospital as we speak. The surgery has gone well, and he will be back. Well, he has to go back in a few months to continue the repair of his cheekbones. So, you've seen what's been going on. What's your thoughts on the whole thing?
I just think generally that is just a whole crazy type of madness that should not, by any means necessary, have happened at all. Just out of principle, no matter how you look at it, one is an elderly man or an older man. You show your respect. Two, they're professional athletes. They should be conducting themselves professionally. So to strike someone's, I don't understand if the boxer was struck, she was struck. Strike the trainer, the manager, the promoter, whoever. That has nothing to do with the fighting. It's just cowardly and a very easy thing to do. It's just disgraceful, really. I don't think. Was it Clarissa Shields? I don't think she talked to the person who it was ever again.
Now, I understand it's come through sources in America that the person that's been arrested that attacked James Elibashir was actually the brother of Clarissa Shields.
Yeah, see, that makes it even worse. Why do such a thing? The fact is, like, taking away the moral compass behind that. Let's just play cops and robbers. You're not going to get away with this, man. So it's literally just like a stupid thing. You've done something in front of loads of people where there's loads of cameras. You're not getting away with it. Worst case, on top of that, you're not only affecting and damaging your sister's reputation as a professional, you're actually messing with her money because she could very more than likely be fined for that.
So
that's bullshit. It's bullshit.
But there are people out there that are saying that he was talking greasy, so he deserved to get clobbered.
Say that one more time, sorry?
He deserved to get... There are people saying that he was talking greasy to a girl and he was threatening a lady, and therefore he deserved to get clobbered like that.
From my understanding and my recollection of boxing, I do believe that a lot of things that are said are part of the whole facade of the act. A lot of it is tongue-in-cheek. A lot of it you can wince at, but so what? It's just words. You're an adult. You're a grown man. Control yourself. Control your actions. To cause actual physical harm to another person that's when you start crossing lines.
Now, the other thing was, it was James Elibashir who was looking to see what Clarissa Shields was weighing on the scales, and he was being stopped by the aggressive 2 or 3 people. They were aggressive towards him, and that's why he said, back up, back up, back up, back up.
What's wrong with checking what's wrong with checking how much your opponent weighs? I'm not finding the issue there.
Yeah, but that's where the problem started. These people should not have been on the stage.
Well, that's down to management, down to security.
There was no security.
So it was. Oh, I mean,
there was no security.
These are shows that put on. As far as I'm aware, there should be security.
It wasn't going to be a televised event via Showtime, and it wasn't even televised.
There's no way that there hasn't been or can't have been no security, or if that's the case, in my mind, I'm saying there's no way that there should not have been any security. Like it's a professional event. You're having 2 aggressive people naturally there. Just out of caution, you would have security there.
The press conference before that was pretty heated as well, so you would have thought you would have had security there.
That's what I'm saying. Again, it's going back to this. It is a lot of bullshit because let's just say there was no security. The press conference is heated. One would think someone in someone's mind, one singular penny would drop in someone's mind to say, do you know what? This got a bit heated. It might continue to get heated. Let's call it some security. That's what I don't get about that particular event. And these type of things happen all over the world in every type of situation, every type of scenario. And again, like I say, it's bullshit. I'm not able to comprehend how something that could be dealt with so easily is not.
So who's to blame? The promoter, the manager, the team, Clarissa Shields' team? Who's to blame for this? Who's at fault?
In my opinion, you cannot put it down to one singular person. I would say there's a collective of blame to be held. Ultimately, him being hurt is simply down to Clarissa Shields' brother, Keith Hudson. However, that incident could have been very much avoided. I can tell you that.
Okay, so you're saying it could have been avoided?
It could have been avoided. It was avoidable. It was not avoided, that's all. People are paid to do certain things, and I just think, like, there's someone that there has to have been gone through more than one person to say, okay, do you know what, let's not have any security here. Do you feel any security? No. Let's double check this. Listen. So several people have said that there's no security needed. And then several people after witnessed the heated press conference, and still several people have said, yeah, let's not have security. They've chosen to not have that.
But is that because of budgets?
Again, most of the things that you will say go back to, again, it's another part of bullshit. It's bullshit in the world. The fact that budgets are put ahead of people's safety. So James Ali Bashir's safety was put second to the budget, if that was the case. I don't know why they didn't ban security. I just know they didn't care enough for everyone's safety. What if there was then retaliation after James Ali Bashir got attacked? Then what? You're going to have a brawl because there's going to be 2 fighters there. More than likely, you're going to have more fighters in their camp. So you can have what? A Royal Rumble of fighters. No security.
Well,
that would have been. They would have made a lot of money from the views on YouTube. I'll tell you that, because can you imagine that? A room full of fighters, and basically they've both been said, "Here's a green light, go at it."
Well, ask this question: why was it not televised on Showtime? The press conference wasn't televised on Showtime. The way in wasn't televised on Showtime, but the fight's a main event on Showtime Saturday night. Have you heard of such nonsense? That's a budgetarial thing.
These are things that, in my mind, the easy answer is to say a budgetarial. But in my mind, I think these type of things, in my head, there has to be some sort of planning or some sort of decision behind that. There's a reason why someone has not done that.
Okay.
So whether it wasn't done on purpose or not, with the intention behind it, in my head, it was done on purpose. So it wasn't avoided.
So,
bearing in mind, Showtime's a multi-million-pound company. They turn over a lot of my billions per year. So for them to have made the decision to not have security, to not take care of everyone's safety, to not make sure everything goes smoothly, everything runs smoothly, inundated amount of experience in. Someone's a fool there. I would find Showtime as a whole. So there you go.
you think so?
However many days Jay Danny Bashir's in hospital, I would find them $1 million per day.
$1 million per day?
Yeah, why not? They can afford it. Because in life, unfortunately, if you do not hear, you'll feel. And that's how most people react. They'll keep getting away with things because they're allowed to get away with it. If Showtime knew that they could not afford to do that, they would have security there. But they can afford to do that because in reality, nothing's really going to happen. Someone might get telling off, might get, a small fine. They can afford to do it.
This is not the first time we've had somebody from Flint kick off. We also had Andre Joel's uncle turning up and punching a fighter after the fight, getting in the ring and punching him and landing a big left hook or big right hand on the opponent's chin, a boxer's chin.
There you go.
Same Flint.
So again, on top of just the general experience of boxing as a whole and press conferences and weigh-ins, you have a specific location, Flint, where that has happened before.
So you tell me.
There's no reason why these things should not have been covered. Just simply that people didn't want to. People weren't bothered enough. That's all.
But there are people who are talking saying, yeah, well, he deserved it. But okay, Bashir said himself that I don't mind if you'd come to me and we had mano a mano, we had a fight. Well, I had a problem with that. The problem I had is that you sucker punch me.
That's been my issue in life. I think many people find that as a problem. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
So people say, oh, he deserved it. And that's what happens when you talk greasy.
Do you know what? In reality, in life, that is what happens. But we're not talking about him being on the street, just randomly talking to a female. They're in the sport, in the profession. That is part and parcel. That's like a footballer complaining that he got mud on his kit. In my eyes, it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
In the sport, if people can't take words, then they really shouldn't be boxers. That's my advice.
And so the situation was saying, well, Clarissa Shields verified these people being on stage with her. Okay.
Well, she should get fined too. Or this is what I would do.
Okay.
Obviously, I understand that police stations and prisons are a lot different in America and England.
Okay.
But however many days James Ali Bashir is in hospital, I would even put her or the brother in prison for the same amount of time. I said, we're going to wait for him to come out of hospital, and then the day he comes out, we're putting you in for the same amount of time.
Minimum. They're now saying it's potentially attempted murder. That's what's been branded around.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I don't believe he would have done that. Maybe he did. I don't know. I can't speak on it. But I'm just saying some sort of punishment is in order. I think that's sufficient enough. With a fine, of course. If you're not fining them, I'd say double the days. If you're fining them, I'd say do the same amount of days.
But here's a man now that he's been training 3 months in Colombia of Ivana Habazan, and the day after he was flying out to train Vlad Tsarenko. The next day he was flying out to train Vlad Tsarenko. So he was leaving from America to hop on a plane the next day to get to Germany today who was meant to be training Vlad Tsarenko, and I was meant to be going to meet him in Germany.
So that's what I'm saying. All for what?
Now he can't do that. So he's going to be wide up with his mouth the way he is for...
Why can he not do that? Because ultimately, his ego got involved in that. That's the only thing that I can see that would have made him do that or allowed him to do that. There's no purpose whatsoever.
So
if
it was
children, cool. There's no way in the door. If I said to someone, "Oh, why did you do that?" Because he said that, I can say fair enough. But whatever comes after is like, you need to check yourself because he said that.
What about people who are condoning this then, ABC?
Like I always play devil's advocate. I can see the for and against, but the for the condoning, it's like I just see that as that's below myself. Like, that's petty. So if it was another man, cool. Like the whole sucker punch, you can't sucker punch someone. It's just a no. So that's called a sucker punch. It means you're the sucker.
Okay. All right.
And so you can't condone, your friend or someone you know, or separately a stranger for conducting themselves in a way that is like a sucker. Now you're condoning the bullshit, and I'm anti that.
Okay. So, all right, let's move from that situation because it's a situation that a lot of people are talking about and is very, very, very close to a lot of people's hearts, and people are very angry, irritated about it one way or another. Let's talk about some other stuff. Next thing on the agenda that comes to mind is Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer, who no longer is a Dark Destroyer. He's coming back for closure. Talk to me about Nigel Benn and him coming back for closure.
I mentioned ego in James Ali Bashir's attacker, and that's all this case is. I recall a few years ago they were asking Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn to have a third fight, and I believe it was Nigel Benn saying now he's past that. So my opinion of that is solely fired and fueled by his ego. It does not aid his son in any way whatsoever. It does not help his son's career. Why do it?
Because he wants closure.
Alright. This is my thing. Like I said, if I broke up with a girl and it was a year or two down the line, I may still want closure. If it's 15, 20 years down the line, it's pretty much closed. There's nothing to speak on or discuss. The case is closed. I don't need closure. I've had a whole other life in that time period.
Yeah, but
he don't need closure. He's just covering it with and using it as excuses. But that's what most people do. And funny enough, most people accept excuses as well. So it's part and parcel. They'll give it because you take it. Not you personally, just figurative speech.
Yeah, but he's saying he needs closure, not from the Dark Destroyer side of things. He wants to do things from no longer being the Dark Destroyer, but he's Nigel Benjamin Button Benn, basically showing that 55 isn't a death sentence.
I mean, it's not a death sentence, but it's not a green light to go and run your life carte blanche like in the most dangerous way. How old is he? 55.
55. He's going to be fighting against Sakia Bika, who's 40.
All right, cool. But as soon as he wants closure, his last fight was he in a world title fight?
I think he was fighting Steve Collins.
Cool. And that was at middleweight, right?
That was at middleweight. Now he's fighting light heavyweight, super middleweight.
Tell him to go fight a light heavyweight world title challenger at present. I'm not talking about Sakia Bika, someone who may have fought for a world title. Tell him to go and fight someone who's on the brink of being a world title challenger. If that's the closure that he needs.
Why'd you say this?
Tell him to go fight a fighter. Because what's the point of fighting that older guy? It's not to say Sakia Bika can't do anything, because at the end of the day, 41 will be, and then there's a lot of boxers who can fight still at that age.
This guy gave Andre Ward, he says his toughest fight. He gave Joe Kazaki nightmares. The biggest punch in the light heavyweight division and one of the biggest punches of all time. Adonis Stevenson couldn't get rid of him. So I'm not quite sure what Nigel Benn's trying to achieve here with Sakio Bika.
I mean,
Bika's never been knocked out, by the way.
I don't believe he's attempting to achieve anything other than the paycheck. That's what that can be down to.
But he doesn't need the money. He's always telling us about how he's got houses in Australia. He's living a good life in Sydney. He's doing this.
I've got loads of houses in Australia. Don't make it true.
Well, that's what he says.
This is what I'm saying. I've got 12 houses in Australia. Doesn't make it any more true.
So what does the ABC say about this then?
Like I said, it's just all bullshit for your ego. It's either for ego or for money. More than likely for money, just because he was offered the fight a few years ago with Chris Eubank, which would have most definitely more than likely made more money over here at least anyway. Maybe even over the world, because American fans used to like Ben. They know who Ben is. Because of the sad incident that happened over in America. They know who Eubank are. So it would have been a form of nostalgia, and people would have bought into that a lot more than Sakio Bika. Because there's English fight fans that don't know who Sakio Bika is. So what is it there? It's either egotism or he wants the money.
Yeah, he wants to prove a point, but proving a point to himself.
He doesn't. I mean, I can't tell you that. I'm not him. But there is no point to prove to yourself. That what? Because what he's going to put his body through, I don't feel that he needs to be doing that now at this age, after not having done it for so long.
23 years.
I mean, it's a fair old time to have taken off.
He says he's fitter now than he was back then. I find it. And they say he's
I mean, that's what I'm saying. As ABC, I do not need to tell you that that's bullshit. I think if I do, then I'm rather worried for you. But you can listen to a 53-year-old tell you that he is fitter now at 53 than he was at 30. And you don't scratch your head or rub your chin.
He says he's fitter now because, obviously then he was doing the drugs and all that. He says he's a fitter man now. And the people that promote him says that he's the fittest 55-year-old in the world.
All right. I know that's a lie because I've seen a lot of fitter 55-year-olds. But his spirit may be fitter. Internally, he may be fitter. I can understand him saying that about the whole drugs and that. But mechanically, his body is not fitter than when he was at 30. It's a fact.
He's bigger, he's better, he's punching harder than he did back there. He's playing better combination.
He would naturally punch harder because he's a light heavyweight now and he last fought a middleweight. So 2-2, you have to give a props to Big Shaq. 2 + 2 is 4 - 1, that's 3. I would think that light heavyweight is going to punch harder than middleweight. So he's not saying anything that's unquestionable. Yeah, you are punching harder. You're heavier. Way more.
Okay. On the subject of comebacks, Evander Holyfield's coming back next year for a charity match.
I mean, cool. Charity, you can work with that, innit? I feel that just off of that, and Evander Holyfield has got his ego in check because what he said is, I really want to box again, but instead of making this whole, mockery and this whole show thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a little exhibition match and see how I feel. That's a sensible thing. Let me see how my body feels and see if I can really do this and if I can step up the training. Cool. Round of applause to Evander. He's going to go straight in to a current or past world challenger, and you haven't boxed you haven't done anything that you do. If you don't do it for 15 years, you ain't more than likely gonna be able to challenge the top of the trees, unless you're talking darts or bowls. Golf will help.
I understand he hasn't sparred either.
Who's this, Evander or Nigel Benn?
Ben.
I mean, that says it all, really. I would imagine that he can't spar because of his health-wise, not because he hasn't sparred. Because as a fighter, you would surely see it a necessity to spar prior to fighting. That's my opinion. I may be wrong. If anything, it would have been advised health-wise to not spar. 53, his body can't take those kind of beatings and poundings.
Absolutely. Let's shift conversation. So we've talked about Evander, we've talked about Nigel. Do you think there should be ABC a Masters Boxing League that would help fighters over the age of 40 that still want to fight, or a Legends League where we'd have guys like Mike Tyson fighting guys like, I don't know, George Foreman, or we could get fights like Joe Kazaki and Carl Froch?
No, they shouldn't. If the guys don't have that, they should have it where they have head guards and they have bigger gloves. Because this is just from a health perspective. Boxing is a dangerous sport. Boxing, what you're doing, you're using your hands to destroy the other person's health as much as possible. That's ultimately what boxing is. Other people are saying, because we're just trying to touch him, but that's what a punch is doing.
So, all right, head guards, and there was an exhibition bout.
20-ounce gloves.
What's that?
20-ounce gloves and head guards.
Okay.
That's even I just wouldn't do it personally, because when you're past a certain age, that's how life is.
But you get exhibition bouts in football, you exhibition football, or you get the Masters in football, Masters in golf.
This is true, but I mean, like for instance, golf here. Unless you whack your opponent around your head with the club, you ain't really going to damage his health.
But what about all those guys who play football or hitting the ball all the time? They said that there's mental repercussions for hitting a heavy ball all the time. That's what they say now, and depression and stuff like that is connected to playing football and certain parts of football.
Okay, so if they're having that argument with football, then surely they must look at boxing as the greater beast in that aspect.
Well, look at
you're not heading the punch is heading you.
Well, look at motor racing. People motor racing and Formula One, stuff like that as well. People can get injured from that as well.
People can get injured crossing the road.
That's true.
I mean, we can pick this argument about anything.
We could pick the argument, but the thing is, at least it's in a controlled environment, and guys can bring closure to their career much sooner than 23 years later.
The gladiators in the Colosseum was a controlled environment too. Why don't we have that? I personally think we should bring that back. Why not? Put politicians against each other. So we'll pick the winner. The winner can be in charge of the country. I think that's fair.
Oh, yes.
Is that your counter argument? That is in the controlled environment.
There are many options that are on the table, which leads us to our next conversation.
It was many options, or there 3 options?
Which leads us into our next conversation. Great talking point. The rise and fall of Anthony Joshua, the pin-up boy of British boxing.
Well, I personally don't see it as a fall.
Okay.
It's a trip. He tripped up. He hasn't fallen.
Okay.
It may seem like he's fallen maybe because of the character that he displayed to other people he's shown. But that's just my take on life. He's just tripped up, dust himself off, and get back at it.
All right. So let's talk about before the Ruiz fight. What were you thinking of all the stuff they were saying that, he was potentially greater than Lennox Lewis, one of the best heavyweights of all time, blah, 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 blah. What were your thoughts on all this, watching all this dialogue before he fought Ruiz?
Well, I had no thoughts of it because this is just the first time I've heard that, to be fair.
Okay.
But, I mean, my counter argument to that would be, who has he fought to be able to say that?
Well, they talked about the Klitschko fight.
All right, that's one fight.
The Dillian White fight.
How many fights has he had?
23, 24, you know, maybe.
Okay. So in his 24, in his 24 fights, how many world champions or ex-world champions or world challengers has he beaten?
Klitschko.
Okay, which will go down. He will go down as an all-time. I wouldn't say the word great, but great, because he was a great challenger. He almost had it for near enough 10 years.
Yep.
You can't mock that.
Yeah, but he was out of the ring for 2 years, doing nothing.
I mean, this is another argument, but regardless, let's briskly look past that. We're trying to get to the bullshit. We're not trying to look at the bullshit.
Well, we get into part of the BS is that when Tyson Fury beat him, he was an old man. But when Joshua beat him...
the way I see it is, when Tyson Fury beat him, Tyson Fury done a hell of a job.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's not what the commentators say.
A year and a half out of the ring to anyone who's active has an effect on you, but especially when you're older. I personally believe that had Klitschko been fighting, or had he fought 6 months prior, that he would have stopped Joshua after he dropped him personally. That's my belief, but at the same time, there's no point talking or imagining scenarios which never happened.
Okay. All right.
Fight. It was a very entertaining fight. I was saying, other than Klitschko, who else has Joshua beaten and fought?
Povetkin, Parker.
Okay, but again, you can't say Parker because we don't know how good Parker is in reality. So Povetkin, because the two Klitschko and Povetkin, we've seen them do their thing.
Yeah.
We can say that they're good fighters. They're up there. So who else? So I'm still 22 short, by the way.
Dillian White.
Okay, again, this was at a time when who was Dillian? It was a very good fight. I enjoyed watching the fight, but you can only mark that's the same. Putting him in the same category as Parker. You can only mark that depending on how far Dillian goes on to do. So you can't count him in that list. So we have Povetkin, Klitschko, and still at 22.
Dominic Brazil.
Let's still at 22.
John Molina.
I mean, okay, Brazil and Molina, it's not like you can't knock them. They're good at what they do, but in reality, what are they? What do they do? They will never be remembered in like 3 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time. Povetkin will.
Tack him.
Klitschko will.
Tack him.
Tack him. In myself, in terms of like his status, I would put him in between the Klitschko and Brazil, but you can count him. So 3. So cool. 21.
Kevin Johnson.
I feel that he done well in stopping Kevin Johnson, but ultimately, again, what is Kevin Johnson? See, as the fighter, what Klitschko? Let's just say Klitschko then, yeah.
Okay.
Because Klitschko's the biggest name on his record, right?
Mm-hmm.
What Klitschko can do is sit down and say, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I've beaten this guy, and this guy has gone on to win a world title or was a world champion. I've beaten this guy, he was a world champion, and he was a world champion, and he was a world champion. The other guys, a couple of them, he could say that they were world title challengers because they were genuinely world title challengers, not because they just got paid to fight or to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Klitschko, Povetkin, at present, who is Anthony Joshua able to say that about?
Yeah, and that's where the silence starts.
I can hear the static.
I can hear the static.
You still there?
Yeah. So then comes the Ruiz fight.
Yeah.
Joshua wasn't focused. Joshua took him lightly. Joshua, what was the other comment? Joshua lost the fight deliberately, so he could become a two-time world champion. Joshua.
I mean that one that's actually funny. I personally don't. They may have been. I'm sure there are. But I personally, as a fighter, I don't believe that anyone would intentionally lose. That's my opinion based on how people are. It's hard to do something, to do anything, knowing that you're good at it, and not be good at it, or not win.
Joshua had a panic attack in the ring.
I undoubtedly believe he must have had that, but again, these are down to psychological things. These are down to people's nature, but nothing to do with who he fought. In fact, to be fair, it does actually have a speck to do with who he fought and his mindset behind that. Because his original opponent, Jerome Miller, I don't know how good he is, but I believed that Joshua would have more than likely beaten him.
But
and I feel when he was looking for a replacement, when he got Andy Ruiz Jr., like most people, just looked at his body and thought, I've got this guy. But again, that's how again, the third time now, that's how egotism gets paid back. You get put in the most egotistical situation and you fail. You look at their bodies, there's no way that Joshua should have lost. There's no way. But this is not how life works. Joshua, from what I saw, from what I witnessed, Joshua expected Ruiz to cower away from being dropped. But the beautiful thing that I watched was that Ruiz actually liked it and encouraged it. And didn't get scared. Like all the other than Dillon and Povetkin and Klitschko, all the other fighters that Joshua's fought have cowered away from his power.
So you're basically
go ahead.
So you're basically saying guys that hit him back pose a different challenge to the guys that just fall over.
I'm not basically saying, that's what I'm saying. It's a fact.
So
it's like in a boxing gym. If you punch the heavy bag, it don't come back. You punch the floor to ceiling, it's coming back. It's two different things. You have to incorporate two different mindsets for the two.
You mean like a military mindset, for example?
Most definitely, you have to be military mindset behind that.
And what is?
Be a soldier.
If you're not in military, how do you know about what a military mindset is? Can you explain to me?
I personally can't, because that's part of what I'm against. It's part of the bullshit. But I'm sure you can find a multiple amount of interviews where they explain the military mindset. I believe part of it is to do with bad boys losing silence. Supposedly. Yeah, I'm perplexed by that question because I'm at a loss.
Something hurt me. Okay, wait. So, a military mindset. Yeah, I'm still trying to understand what it is, because I thought, well, you'd have to be in the military to understand the mindset, correct?
One would think that.
I don't know. Judge, please interrupt me, Mr. ABC, but I didn't know if Joshua was part of the military, had been in the military. Did you know he was in the military?
I don't believe he has been. I don't believe he has been.
So then, what is a military mindset then?
Like I said, the only thing that I can class that is moving in silence.
Oh, what does that mean?
That sounds more like SAS, but then again, you can say that they're all military. I don't know, special ops and all of that.
Well, see, when I said it to Uncle Bashir about military mindset, he said to me that military mindset, that's all good until you get hit on the chin. See, if your chin's military as well.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. See, this whole military mindset, in terms of jumping on what James Ali Bashir said, is it's all good having a military mindset when you're walking through a field. When you start walking through a war zone, not many people are able to continue having their quote-unquote military mindset. And this is where you discover the men from the boys.
So, the actual fight with Ruiz, the walking to the ring, they said there was nothing wrong with Joshua, he was fine. Watching that fight through your eyes as Mr. ABC, what did you see?
Like we said, just ABC, please.
Okay, ABC. No problems.
I'll be honest. The first time I watched it, you notice it's very like, oh, why is he acting like that? Why is he behaving in such a way where like the whole gumshoe thing, yeah? And then, just to go off my knowledge and my experience of life, is all it was is that he was nervous. He was out of his comfort zone. That's what I was. He wasn't used to being in his so-called, inverted commas, lion's den. He was in a wolf's cave. He felt uncomfortable. Now, I don't know what military mindset is, but I would imagine that if you have a military mindset, you're comfortable everywhere and anywhere. Or you can adapt. One didn't adapt.
He said, well, you know, when he looked at Andy Ruiz, it was, you know, he wasn't motivated for the fight. He wasn't up for it, you know, because he was angry. He said, yeah, I'll dust up Andy Ruiz. It'll be easy, no problems.
Well, that's his own fault then. What are you meant to say to that? I wasn't motivated to fight. Right, so why did you fight? Ask him that question. Why did you fight? If you weren't motivated to fight, why did you fight?
Yeah, because everyone's talking about Wilder and Fury. They kept asking me that question.
But that's not answering the question. Again, this whole politician business is I'm not for that. If you're not motivated to fight, why fight? It's because he believed that Andy Ruiz is going to lay down. He believed once I hit him and he drop him, he's mine. That's all it is. Ultimately, he never lost the fight. If you really check it, to correct you, he never lost the fight. He quit the fight.
Ooh, ouch! Why did he quit the fight?
I mean, that's the conversation you're going to have with Mr. Military. I can't tell you why. I would think that if I've been hit by someone, I'm most definitely, if I weren't motivated before, I'm definitely motivated then. I'd definitely be motivated after being hit and floored 4 times. Which I may add, one of them was by a jab. Which is never good. Never a good sign.
Why?
You're being dropped by a jab.
Why is it a good sign to get dropped by a jab?
I think it's the first, the most simplest, and most basic punch to either defend against, attack against, to see coming, to feel coming, and it's just never a good sign, in my opinion.
What about lucky punches from the gods or lucky punch from the gods?
I mean, which one is he calling lucky?
Oh my God.
I must be reasonable. Cool, all right. There's such thing as the lucky punch from the gods. Cool. Which one was that?
The one that originally you got caught with that started the problems.
Oh, I would have said that the jab was the lucky one, personally. That's what I would have said. You know, to be fair, off the top of my head, the only time I can recall seeing a fighter get dropped by a jab is, was it
Nigel Benn?
Tyson? I remember Mike Tyson in Japan. Who was he fighting? Is it Tony? Was it Tubbs or someone? He dropped someone with a jab. Well, we're talking like, what, 30 years ago?
Well, Kovalev dropped Yard with a jab to knock him out. That was out of exhaustion. And Ben got knocked up by a jab against Michael Watson.
I mean, that's fair enough. The Yard thing is an exhaustion. So, that's reasonable. If you could see that, then that's what it was. It's not that he's been dropped by a jab. Anthony Joshua wasn't exhausted. But he didn't look exhausted.
He said, what was he
looked
saying?
flustered. He looked out of place. He looked uncomfortable.
He said he had it under control.
He most definitely did not have anything under control.
He said, "You see me at the beginning of the fight. I was on my toes. I was
He never
jab.
he never had his jaw under control. So that tells you everything.
What do you mean? What do you say?
He never had his jaw under control. And I'm referring to when he was biting on the gum shield. That was inadvertent. I don't believe that was done on purpose. That was him displaying his nervous energy. The first time he fought out of England. The first time, yes, he was the quote-unquote A fighter, but he didn't feel at home. As far as I'm aware, lions, you put a lion anywhere, if it was at home, or makes itself at home, he did not do that. It's not a shame for myself, it's a shame for the fans because they got to see the facade and the curtain slip, the mask slip off. But then also there's loads of them that have excused his behaviour.
What's the sort of excuses you've heard?
I heard a lot of people saying that it was a setup he lost on purpose. I just found that funny. Because what I can tell you now is, if you are going to lose on purpose, you most definitely won't lose the way he did.
Okay.
You most definitely wouldn't lose the way he did. Or maybe could you? Because like I said, he quit the fight, never came out to fight. So that's fair
He
enough.
said the referee stopped the fight. He didn't actually quit. The referee...
The referee, asked him to come out. He walked out of the corner twice. Yeah, and when he went back to the corner the second time, that's when the referee said, no, that's it. He went to the corner, said, come out, walked out, went back. The referee said, come out. He came out again. On the second time he went to walk back, the referee said, no, that's it. Because why? Your body language is displaying that you don't want to fight. Your mouth is saying it. Your body's not. That's probably where the military mindset failed him, because he had no control over his body.
Okay, so now the rematch. Anthony Joshua should lose weight. He should do this. He should do that. He's now looks slimmer. So because he's slimmer now, he's going to beat Ruiz. Your thoughts?
My opinion is when two people have a fight and then one of them for the second fight changes, what's the word, their
bread and butter.
changes their military mindset, slims down and does, in essence, something that aids the opponent. Again, in my opinion, that's not a good look. It may help him. The speed may help him, but this is the problem. He ain't had the problem with moving fast, he has a problem with speed coming at him, which is natural because that's what science will tell you. The bigger man will be susceptible to the smaller man's speed. On top of that, he's given Ruiz double the amount of time to train. Probably triple by the time the fight happens. Because he only had 5 weeks, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
It's not looking good.
He says
I'm separately, I am happy for Ruiz, though, just for him making history in terms of becoming the first Mexican heavyweight champion.
Of course.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
And what I loved is, I think it was the post press conference where he said, he said something to his mum, something like, you never have to work me on, something like that. And I just thought that was a really beautiful thing.
Yeah.
For anyone, let alone especially a fighter, being able to say that to their parent or to their loved ones.
That's a great moment. What have you thought about what he said? If you put me and Andy Ruiz in a computer, 9 times out of 10, I beat Andy Ruiz. This time he got lucky.
I mean, I don't believe that there's any such thing as luck because Andy Ruiz meant to punch him. But I don't think there's such thing as a lucky. A lucky punch is if you got to punch him. Like I once in my life was having a fight in the street, and the guy who came to punch, and I moved back, and I stood in the puddle, and I slipped forward into his punch. I could say that's a lucky punch, because had the weather conditions been different, had my footing been different, I wouldn't have got hit. But generally speaking, he meant to punch me, so his goal was achieved.
I've never understood lucky punch anyway, because the whole intention of you being in the ring is to punch.
Snap. Like, I understand if you weren't looking, but if you weren't looking, you should have been looking. Like, I understand if you weren't defending yourself, but if you weren't defending yourself, you should have been defending yourself. Like, the guy's trying to punch you. So him then punching you, saying, well, do you know what, that was a lucky punch. That again is perplexing, but whatever some people need to say to make themselves feel better, they will say. So, cool.
So now, this fight is in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
The rematch, people are expecting, AJ's going to put it right this time. He's going to have a different camp. His secret weapon is training with the amateurs, because they're going to give him that fire and for him to have that passion to come back and fight.
I mean, if you need an amateur boxer to give you passion to fight, I would advise you not be in the ring. If you need your passion from outside sources,
yes,
you can't base the fact that a professional, and based on numbers, a fairly inexperienced professional compared to a lot of the fighters out there, is now going to win after having lost his world title because he's training with amateurs.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying is, I'm now going to be a world champion because I'm training with amateurs.
Okay.
But that makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But they're saying amateurs are going to be the key, are going to be the people that they're going to be. That's the secret weapon. That's what's going to make him a better fighter. He's going to.
Okay, so let's just quickly change the subject for a moment for you to understand the kind of the duality in that sentence here. So Sebastian Vettel was asked, how's he going to beat Lewis Hamilton?
Yeah.
And he says, well, my motocross friend, we've been riding a lot, so I'm definitely going to beat him. I'm sure the report would be left kind of stumped, though. Yeah, but listen, can't touch me on a bike. Definitely going to beat him. Be in a car, driving the car, mate. The hunger that these riders have is gonna make me drive my car faster. All right, you just have to leave them at that.
People are saying that when you look at Joshua, a lot of the old school trainers are saying he doesn't have people around him that have got boxing knowledge, and McCracken just isn't enough for him.
I've recently learned a few things in life, and I do feel that if you're doing anything, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's boxing, whether it's motor racing, whether it's gardening, if you do not have people living that said life around you, I don't think it's going to help. I think the more people you have living that life will aid you, will help you. That's just my opinion on succeeding in life.
He said that people who think he should leave McCracken are clowns because McCracken was with him at the start.
All right, but just because someone's with you at the start don't mean that they're with you at the beginning, at the end. Sorry, but that's his take and that's his opinion on life. At the end of the day, as far as I was aware, he was training with Tony Sims, was he not?
Yes, and then McCracken was helping him in between that.
All right, so shouldn't he go back to Tony Sims if you're going to start arguing? Because what he's saying doesn't make sense. I would imagine that McCracken probably had like some sort of involvement with the amateurs, but he wasn't his full-time trainer. It's got nothing to do with Joshua personally or to any other boxer that I may mention. It's just my name says it all. I'm anti-bullshit. Just we don't want to hear the bullshit. I'm tired of hearing it. So if you put it on my plate or bring it to my plate, I'm just gonna decipher it as best as I can, or I'll tell you what I don't believe is bullshit.
One of the other things people say is that if he boxes like he boxed against Parker, then he's going to outbox Ruiz.
Okay, but Ruiz has got faster hands than Parker. So how can someone counteract that argument? Can't box someone the same for the simple fact that they're not the same person. I believe Ruiz moves his feet better than Parker.
I believe Ruiz punches harder than Parker. I believe Ruiz has got a better amateur pedigree than Parker. I believe Ruiz has fought far more diverse styles than Parker.
And apparently, I did not see the fight. Apparently, there are people arguing to say that Ruiz beat Parker. Yeah,
I believe Ruiz beat Parker when the fight was on. I believe that too. Interesting.
So again, how are you going to beat someone in a way that you fought someone that you beat that they never lost to? Forget the whole points thing and on paper. Let's just talk morally. From what we see, who agrees that Ruiz beat Parker? The argument is how can you say that you're going to beat Ruiz because of how you fought Parker when Ruiz beat Parker?
As far as I was concerned, Ruiz was going into that fight an unbeaten fighter.
There you go.
And seriously dangerous.
I believe, as far as Eddie Hearn was concerned, Ruiz was going into the fight, the late replacement walkover job.
Yep.
Like, not even just Eddie Hearn, like most people believed.
I was one of those guys that said, be careful. If AJ engages with Ruiz, that's Ruiz's fight to win.
I've always said that Joshua, loads of the heavyweight, their difficulty was just speed. And as far as I'm aware, I don't believe there's not many heavyweights that have the same speed or faster hands than Andy Ruiz.
Interesting.
He has got good footwork, but you could beat him, I believe, by staying away from him, by not allowing him to use his feet. But you're going to have trouble with speed. Joshua never used his height. Joshua wanted to fight him.
He says the reason why he got beat was because when he went for the knockout, he says the analogy usually was he took it out the oven too early, and he should let it cook a little longer before he went to try and take it out the oven. That's why he got burnt.
But he got burnt several times. So how many times did he try to take out the oven?
Stop.
These people use these analogies to sound smart and to most of it sound smart. It sounds fancy, but It's just bullshit.
Oh, my stomach. Oh, stop.
It's just gift wrapped bullshit. So.
Oh, my word. My word. Oh, dear. So the rematch in Saudi Arabia. He says,
yeah. If the rematch had been in England, I was thinking, you know what? He has a better chance. Because clearly and evidently, he's someone who reacts to where he's at. Now, probably in there, they're probably saying, oh, don't worry, you ain't fly here, but neither is Ruiz. But I can tell you now, based on his body language, Ruiz, as long as you give him a pair of gloves and a ring, he's there to fight. Whereas a lot of boxers, it's conditional as to how and when they fight.
wow.
Some people won't fight everywhere, some people can't fight everywhere. It's like I said, it's their nature. So them talking all that military mindset, it's all good saying it, but you displaying it.
Okay. So the rematch in your eyes?
I would imagine Ruiz to beat him. I think it might go longer though.
Do you?
Because Joshua, because I believe Joshua's going to be more mindful. Because I don't think at first he thought anything was coming back. Once he realised, all right, cool, this guy's punching me back now.
But can he actually deal with somebody punching him back like that? Mentally, never mind physically, mentally.
My opinion is that he's unable to, but you would only see on the night. This goes down to people, this stems into people's lives and how their nature and their character is. That's all.
And what sort of nature and character do you think Joshua is at or is?
I mean, from what I've seen and what's been displayed, it's a bully. It's a bully nature and character. Bully's only comfortable in the playground. Only comfortable at home. Only comfortable when the victim does not turn into the abuser.
Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting.
That's all.
Okay, let's...
my opinion is up until his world title, he had only had one fight, and that was against Dylan. Only fight that he actually had.
Yeah.
So it's understandable. It's not to him for how the brain works. It's understandable for his brain to get complacent and relax in the situation of, okay, I'm getting to fight people who are here to lose, who I very easily can beat. Very natural for your mind to go behind that. But that's just if his nature's like that, then he'll fall into that trap. If his nature isn't like that, he'll always be on point. So when someone does fight back, he's ready to fight.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll have to wait and see whether he really has got a bully mentality or not. Because if he has, Ruiz will expose him again.
Well, I mean, yeah, because he already has done that.
Okay, let's move on. KSI and Paul Logan, the YouTubers, having a professional career, turning pro, the YouTubers, after one amateur bout each, and headlining a show with Billy Joe Saunders and Devin Haney. Billy Joe Saunders with a decade amateur career, two-time world champion Devin Haney, good amateur as well, turning pro, and very impressive amateur, professional career so far. What are your thoughts on this so far?
What I heard was is Billy Joe on their undercard.
Yes.
All right. I'm aware that the world is changing, and a lot of this is down to the hype and the attention that they've gained on social media, stroke YouTube.
Yes.
Which is cool. I like the fact that boxing is getting attention, but at the same time, it's it's an outrage, the fact that of what I know of how boxers get paid.
Okay.
And how hard it is to get into that position. To then have a world champion. Is Billy Joe still world champion?
Yeah, he just recently won the WBO super middleweight title.
You know, to have a world champion on your undercards, on your first professional fight, is I mean, it's quite impressive what they've done. But the only good I tried to pick out that is the attention that they drew to boxing. What's going to come of that, though? Because in reality, whose show is it?
It's going to be on Sky Sports for $9.99 pay-per-view.
Oh wow! That's a cheat.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think the pay-per-view thing is a step too far, personally. Ultimately, all that's going to happen with that is either Sky are going to flop and have a pay-per-view that did sell, or Sky are going to have a lot of pissed off customers that bought that pay-per-view and didn't get pay-per-view.
I mean, the technical skills are not going to be that great, are they? Let's be honest.
They're going to be terrible.
One of them is trained by Shannon Briggs.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
So why are you saying it?
I have to say it because it's part of the BS, isn't it?
What does that mean?
Well, I have to see because it's part of the BS, isn't it? So you, the commissioner. It's meant to add some. It's meant to add some. The reason why you should buy the pay-per-view. Let's go, champ.
The reality is probably Shannon Briggs is the reason why the pay-per-view will sell. What's part of it? Your show's only selling because you're a trainer.
Okay, let's talk about Derek Chisora's recent outburst with Eddie Hearn, and now he's not fighting on the bill at all. He says, remember, did you see the outburst of Chisora with the?
I heard of it, but I don't know what it's about specifically.
He basically said because Progress and Taylor are fighting for the final of the I think it's the lightweight championship, welterweight championship of the world, and Parker and Chisora is going to be on the undercard, and Chisora turned around and said, "Hey, listen, if you want me on this undercard, you're going to have to pay me proper money. Nobody cares about the light welterweight championship of the world. People want to see the two heavyweights fight." So he said, "Pay me more money. Pay me more money." He says, you're screwing me. You're screwing me without Vaseline. So he says, you need to pay me more money. I'm the one who's going to be selling this event.
No one likes that.
He says, I'm the guy people are going to want to see, because of what I draw. I can draw tickets, not Taylor, not Progress, but me. I'll be the one who will be kicking off and making something and promoting this card. So I should be getting paid more money. If you're going to put me on the card, fine, but pay me more money. So now he's pulled out the fight. Or now, in fact, Joseph Parker is now.
Parker pulled out because he got bitten by a spider, no?
Yeah, it's Spider Parker. Yeah. The thing is, he got he got pulled out. Spider Parker, yeah. But I think really because I think Chisora's demanding more money, which means Parker's going to get less money, which means Parker's got bitten by a spider, and now he got bitten by a radioactive spider, and now he's climbing all around New Zealand. That's what's happened.
Fair enough. That's it's a bit much, that. But I mean, I can understand him saying that. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. Well, why should he not get? I mean, it's true. Ultimately, people are there to predominantly see heavyweights. People get excited by what heavyweights do. That's just off their fight alone. Let alone the fact that Chisora is a character.
Yeah,
and they'll sell the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, which leads
all to him for that.
Which leads us into our next. We've been on an hour, so we're going to wrap this up soon. A side versus B side. This is the whole thing as well. A side, B side. It's dominating boxing talk at the moment. Talk to me about A side and B side.
I just feel if you want to fight someone, just make it happen. People use that A side, B side as I believe as an excuse to either not fight other people or to ask for more money, knowing that them asking for more money is gonna not have the fight go on.
We take the Spence versus Crawford situation, and they're saying, well, it's because he's on the other side of the road. That's why the fight won't happen.
Well, okay, what side?
One's on PBC and the other one's on Top Rank.
All right, so do you have a? Why don't they just fight on Showtime?
Well, because there's ESPN as well. There's issues there as well. So they'd have to fight. Who's going to be the TV broadcast? Remember when Tyson and Lewis were fighting?
So basically, they're just saying about who's going to be on PBC and who's going to be on Top Rank, right?
Yeah, there's issues there between Bob Arum and Al Heyman, and Bob Arum don't want to fight Al Heyman fighters.
If one of the promoters really wanted to fight, or one of the fighters wanted to fight, then just okay, cool, we'll go to your show. Just pay. I just need to get paid more money. These things are very simply and easily dealt with.
When Lewis was fighting Tyson, it was Showtime and HBO. They made it happen.
Did they not do a joint thing though?
You did. To make the fight happen, because there's too much money involved. Not to happen.
That's 17 years ago.
But it happened.
Well, I'm just saying that's 17 years ago. You're saying that what? There's not been no progress since then. You're saying that none of this all stems from egotism. Someone's ego just can't be quiet.
Okay, that's cool.
They can make the show happen if they wanted to.
Okay.
But they don't ultimately want to. I don't get that.
While we're on the subject of Spence, tell me what your thoughts were about the Porter fight.
I thought it was a good fight. I did think that Porter was going to win it, to be fair. But clearly Spence has carried the weight well. I still believe we'll have problems with Crawford because they're both very good fighters. But the Spence Porter fight, that was a good fight. It was an entertaining fight. How
do you think Danny Garcia goes, who's a better puncher than Porter?
Against Spence?
Yes.
I mean, he's a better puncher, but he's not faster.
Okay.
So the whole point of it, you can have strong punches, but you can't land them. What's the point of having them?
Okay. All right.
Garcia, as far as I'm aware, like Canelo, these guys don't fight in their weight anyway.
So Canelo Kovalev, while you're at it, Canelo moving up to fight Kovalev.
He's not moving up. He's always been that way. He's always been that way.
That's true.
He boils down for weight and then boils up for fight night. That's why he gets such devastating. Like, for instance, with Amir Khan, he's a bigger fighter, but that's not the punches of it. He's not that strong, and you see that in terms of who else has he laid out like that or next to like that. A couple fighters, yes, he's laid them out, but not as badly as that. Because Khan's at the weight that he weighed in at. Canelo is either light heavy or cruiser.
So, how does he do against Kovalev?
I would expect him to win.
Why?
Because I think he's better polished all round as a fighter, as a boxer.
Okay.
He's not going to be deterred by Kovalev's power, I don't believe. And I think he's slicker.
Okay. Deontay Wilder meets Luis Ortiz. Your thoughts? In a rematch.
The main thing I would like Ortiz to win, just for the fact that there's never been a Mexican heavyweight champion. We now have one, Andrews Jr. And from what I've learned, there's never actually been a Cuban world champion, period.
What about...
Am I incorrect there?
Cuban. It's Puerto Rican Cuban. What was Gamboa?
Sure he was Puerto Rican. Oh.
He might be Puerto Rican.
Sure he was Puerto Rican. But okay, I know that there hasn't been a Cuban heavyweight world champion.
Yep, okay.
That would be amazing never have a Cuban one, never have a Mexican, and they're both there. I think that would just be just great.
But do you think?
Them,
but do you think he can do it though?
I think he can. I don't think he will. But what I do want him to. I don't think he can. He's an old guy. He hasn't been very active recently.
Yeah, that's the point.
Again, it's not the same kind of issue with Joshua Klitschko. He's not been very active. He's a very good boxer. Boxing brain's on point, but doesn't have the mechanics to follow that through. So I would expect Deontay Wilder to win. Separately, seeing as we spoke about that before, what I would have done if I was Anthony Joshua is I would have, once I lost, I would have said, forget a rematch. I would have gone to fight Deontay Wilder because I know Deontay Wilder would have been willing to fight because I've been knocked out.
Why?
So I think life's about gambling. And that's the only way to win big. If you gamble. That fight would have got made. I would have got some confidence from it. Then I would have gone back to get my titles.
That's only if you'd beaten Deontay Wilder.
Well, I mean, in my opinion on that issue, I feel that between the two is whoever hits first. I think Joshua's better on the inside, much better on the inside. Deontay Wilder does not tend to fight on the inside. Again, Deontay Wilder has not had people punch back at him. How does he react once he gets punched back? The other times that he has been clipped, he's not reacted very well. He's looked unstable and off balance.
Okay.
So, see out there. I was watching a program. They were saying that basically the first 30 professional fights that Deontay Wilder had, they were just tomato cans and knockovers. Deontay Wilder's his confidence and his egotism have gone through the roof, especially since the Brazil knockout.
Yeah.
But it's understandable. If he's done something 30 times, how much confidence, how much experience you gain from that. If every fighter had that, the sport would be different.
Yeah. He was well managed. You've got to say he's been well managed. And he has improved.
Very well managed. He has, but it's expected. How can you not improve after what? 30 fights, 40 fights? You have to improve at some point.
If you've been listening.
Pardon?
If you've been listening.
I believe the reason he's improved is because one, he's fighting slightly better opposition, and two, they must be improving something within the training at that point.
Yes, true.
So,
very true.
Again, seeing as now Saudi Arabia is an option, they could have done the Wilder Joshua fight. They can do the Wilder Joshua fight. Should Joshua win? But my want is for Luis Ortiz to do what he can, and he should know that this is really, really the last chance for Luis.
Yes.
So he should be able to go all out
and try.
Yeah, I think if I was him, the only practice I'll do, the only training I'll do is to fight flat out for 9 minutes. If he kept on moving and just fought flat out for 9 minutes, I think he'd get Wilder.
Interesting. All right. I think we will leave the commissioner there for today. Do you have any final thoughts about BS in boxing?
Just people need to stop swallowing the BS and stop feeding into it. It's the only reason it's there. Supply and demand. You guys eat it, so it's gonna keep being fed.
And where are we gonna most likely see the supply of BS, in your opinion?
Oh, well, you see it all over in boxing, but in politics, in everything. It's just society as a whole. In the way people try to sell you something, the way they try to tell you that it's fine, the way constantly, let's just say in England, that apartments and flats continuously keep being made but there's no one to live in them. That's fine. We need more flats. We need more Tesco's. We need more Sainsbury's. Less jobs, more flats, but we need that.
Very interesting. ABC, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and we look forward to speaking to you soon again.
Always a pleasure, Ingram. You have a good evening.
Well, to you too. Take care, champ.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So there you have there, Mr. ABC, or ABC as he has been referred to, the anti-BS commissioner. I look forward to having him on the show again soon. What did you think of Mr. ABC, or ABC as he's called? What were your thoughts on him and his thoughts on boxing in general? Take care. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. We're out. Take care.